Welcome back to Trading 360. It's time for our 360 round. We're focusing on Crowdstrike, the stock soaring, jumping after its quarterly report. Is there a real standout story here? Let's ask our team, our panel. Alex Hamerstone's with us, Advisory Solutions Director at Trusted Sec, and Malik Ahmed Khan, Equity Analyst of Technology at Morningstar. Malik, I'll start with you. Is this really something different? Is it a software standout as we see this quarter and the stock jumping? What say you?
Yeah, sorry, Nicole. I didn't catch that. I didn't catch that question. I think you were talking about the broader strength that the company showed. We really like the quarter. Crowdstrike continues to be an execution story for us. Other cybersecurity vendors reported in the past few weeks, and they talked about certain macro headwinds, elongating sales cycles, and Crowdstrike came out yesterday and raised guidance, beat the numbers that they had put out. So overall, Crowdstrike seems to be a company, definitely is a company in the cybersecurity space that is executing at the highest level. And we expect that to continue going forward as some of the tailwinds that we've been highlighting over the last few quarters, like vendor consolidation and a shift to cloud, continue to drive demand for its solutions there.
Yeah, I mean, do you think it's at 328 today, Malik? Where do you think it is a fair value for this stock?
So we have our price target or fair value estimate is $300. So right now it's trading within the 10 to 50. It's trading in the 3-star range. So we think it's fairly valued right now. It has come down over the last week or so as some of the weakness in the comments made by Salesforce impacted some of the other software stocks. But again, as I said, right, like other software companies and cybersecurity companies have been talking about weakness in demand, perhaps, and CrowdStrike comes around and reports a quarter that defies those expectations, and that's why you're seeing the stock up almost 8% today.
Yeah, Alex, I want to get some of your thoughts. Would you say it's executing and performing at the highest level compared to some of the peers?
I would say they're absolutely doing a great job, and obviously the stock price reflects that. And I think what's interesting is just over time, we're still seeing increases in cybersecurity spending, but companies are much more intentional about it. And when you think about IT teams and security teams, they're very busy, and so they want products that work well and that are well integrated. And anything that can kind of jump in and help them with that is going to do well. Kind of getting back to fundamentals of a product that people are happy with and like. It's not just about buzz anymore, right? It's not a situation where companies used to really just buy any tool that was out there. They'd have tons of different tools and softwares. And now companies are much more intentional about their spending and what they bring into their environment. So any company that's able to really capitalize that's going to do very well.
Yeah, and what do you think about the market share, gaining more market share, Alex? It was something you wrote about in your notes. And why is it worth mentioning Okta and Salesforce in this conversation?
So I think it's important to note that, I think that what we're seeing is a lot of the companies that have not executed well, kind of falling out of organizations. I go to a lot of different conferences and you just see tons and tons of vendors, right? It's a very crowded space. But what's interesting is some of these big players are taking a larger chunk. And it really comes down to, what we're kind of hearing out there is that organizations are unhappy with some of their providers, right? I mean, people have spent a ton of money over the years and we're still seeing all these breaches. And so when you start to think about the consolidation and being more intentional with how companies are spending, they're going to end up with these companies that are, providing the value and meeting their needs.
Are we entering sort of evolving? Is there new phases that are happening in the world of cybersecurity, Malik, that we should be watching some of the other names too? Because you did say you liked CrowdStrike. Mm-hmm. It was fairly valued or even above the fair value. Mm-hmm. There's so many other names. We have some of them up here, Palo Alto, Fortinet, just to name a few. Yep. What other names are on your mind as winners in some of the things they're doing?
So I agree with Alex in terms of vendor consolidation. That has been a big thesis from our side over the last few years. Simply put, we just don't think that the current sort of cybersecurity model for an average enterprise is sustainable or scalable, in the sense that right now enterprises have like 15, 20 different security vendors, and a steady state number which they want to aim at as they consolidate some of the spending is probably close to 6 or 7. And we see a lot of that market share accruing to companies which we call platform vendors, or to name them is Palo Alto, Fortinet, Zscaler, and CrowdStrike. We think that these 4 companies in particular are going to be winners. And you're already seeing that play out, right? You're seeing some of the smaller security vendors talk about additional macro headwinds, talking about maybe having more difficulty upselling certain modules. And then you sort of look at those companies and you layer on CrowdStrike solutions and you're like, CrowdStrike is not having the same difficulty. And that tells you something. So we're already seeing this vendor consolidation thesis play out. Again, cybersecurity is an incredibly fragmented market. Palo Alto, the largest security vendor, controls roughly 5% of the space. So, we see those market shares growing for Palo, for Fortinet, for CrowdStrike, and for Zscaler.
Thank you both so very much. Alex Hamerstone of Trusted Sec and Malik Ahmed Khan of Morningstar. Thank you for being here. Good luck at CrowdStrike and some of those other names in the world of cybersecurity.